Oh, what year are we in right now?
2020.
No. What year for our Global Homeboy Network? Is this our 8th, 9th, or 7th? Our 7th annual Global Homeboy Network. Damn. All right.
Come here, David.
Yeah.
Party to the side, big homes.
Yeah.
We on?
Guys are on. Have a great.
So we're on now? All right. Cool. Good morning, everybody. This is our 7th annual Global Homeboy Network. And we're doing it through a crazy way, this virtual crazy stuff because of COVID. So we're all trying to adjust, but we're gonna have a great time today. Today we're gonna talk about our experiences, our homeboy experiences with trainees, former trainees that moved on to different jobs or that are here working with us at Homeboy Industries. My name is Hector Verdugo. I'm the Associate Executive Director here at Homeboy. I've been here for about going on 15 years. 2006 was when I came in. I came in as a trainee. And I came in as a trainee with, you know, as an adult that kind of lived a life where I didn't know where I was going. I knew the path that I was on was going to put me back in prison for the rest of my life. And I just said, something has to change in my life. And I remember meeting Father Greg when I was a kid in juvenile hall. And just a quick glimpse of a man who was different, who had a genuine love, I thought, you know, but it was just a pass by. And didn't think about him much, seen him on the news every once in a while, seen the guys that he served, the community that he served, and seeing these gang members like really, really affected by this man. I remember they pulled him out of the organization and they pulled him out of Homeboy Industries. They moved him. He was going through stuff with the church. And I remember the news being right there and seeing these guys crying, gang members. And I felt like, what are these dudes crying about, man? That's crazy. Young-minded gang member myself, and paid it no mind until later on when I finally made my way to Homeboy Industries. I understand. I understand why people would be emotionally distraught by someone so loving, such an awesome dude to be pulled out of your life. And so here we are, here I am at Homeboy Industries many years later and saying, hey, Father Greg, do you remember me? I'm one of the twins from the projects. And it was a quick welcome home, son, and a hug. And how can I help? Genuine. And my life hasn't been the same. So I came in trying to understand questions, trying to understand my life, and under one roof, through our therapy, through camaraderie with brothers and sisters that have been through the life that I've been through many tears, many ceremonies that I've never really, you know, had never been a part of, but genuine washing of the feet. I remember Father Greg washing our feet, you know. I remember just breaking down with brothers and sisters from the pains that we've carried throughout our lives. I grew up in Ramona Gardens, and I grew up mom on heroin. Father just died from a heroin overdose before my twin and I were born. And we grew up in a violent home, domestic violence. And then my mom split up with this dude that was outside the projects, but all my family was inside the projects. We went back into the projects, and all my family were gang members. So we got to see the same thing: heroin, in the house, overdoses. I seen a murder when I was like 10 years old, 11 years old. Just something that you would hide your children from ever seeing or being a part of anything like that. And we were exposed to stuff like that. The neglect of I remember going into junior high school, wanting to try something different, not understanding the social norms of making friends, because we're off in the projects and we're all kind of friends, and trying to hang out with other guys, and being completely rejected from the beginning of, dude, you don't belong with us. You belong with the projects, with the project kids. And you know what that kind of stain does to you is, I'm not good enough. I'm not, worthy, maybe, just like the stuff that, subconsciously that I felt from my mom, or family members. So it took away the hope, and quickly I dived into, oh shoot, oh okay, I'm trying to figure this out, this life. And I said, then the projects, then that project group, that gang member group is my group. And so Father Greg says that's when a gang member, a child who joins a gang, lost all hope. And I could pinpoint that, where I just lost all hope and said, the barrio is where I'm gonna be. Got jumped in right away. And then with that came, drug use, the numbing of pain, the baptized in violence, as I get jumped into the barrio, and as I now hurt people because of that. Carried on criminality and that type of deal, going to juvenile hall at a young age of 14. Man, it just kept going from that into prison at 18 years old. And meanwhile, through that journey, the homeboys were guiding me through this. Oh, you're gonna go to juvenile hall. Call me by my street name. Get ready. And then, bop, 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 we would fight. And in the beginning, I didn't know why we were fighting. But then after they explained, like, we're fighting because you're gonna fight big people in juvenile hall. You can't be afraid. And then as I got older, get ready. You're gonna go to prison, Hector. You're gonna find somebody from the barrio in every prison in California. I was proud of that. And sure enough, pulled into prison. Somebody from my neighborhood had me a stack of clothes already ironed for me. He took me out of my cell when I shouldn't be out of my cell, walked the yard, gave me some burritos, and I was totally green, I remember asking my old homeboy, Paul Hugin. I told him, he pulled me out at night yard, and I go, hey, and he goes, you hungry? I said, yeah, I'm hungry. Boom, he gives me a burrito. And I go, it was like chili with the green chili and meat. And I was like, hey, Holmes, I don't remember having this for dinner at Chow. He started laughing at me. He goes, this ain't Chow. This ain't state food, homeboy. This comes from me. And I was like, oh, man. I tell that story to my friends, and they laugh because only a kid would ask that dumb question, So these are the experiences that we've had, that I've had. Drug dealing. When I got out of prison, I really wanted to hook up my friend, Paul Hugin, when I came out of prison, with a stack of money put on his books. And I looked him up, and he had died in prison. And I was like, he was a little older. And I felt bad, like, damn, I wasn't able to tell him thank you. And then when, speaking on death is, we're surrounded by it. It's in that lifestyle. You hold your emotions. You're close with your people, but you don't want to get too close because death is around that corner. You tell your homeboys, get ready. If I die, you play this music. You invite these people to my funeral, and it's going to be feed me. I don't want no one to be sad. I want everyone to be all happy. And you come up with these. You're planning your death. It's unbelievable. And then finally, at 30 years old, coming to Homeboy Industries, I just, lost and without anything anymore. I beat certain cases that could have kept me in prison for the rest of my life. And I was afraid, I don't want to do the rest of my life in prison. So this new world opened up about healing, about love. And I didn't dive into it as I felt I should have. I was cautious, looking around, see if this place was fake, you know. And then I would watch people. I watched people like Fabian Devora when he came in. I watched the way he, you know, kept his hat low, kept his head down, and just he dived into this organization. And I watched his life change right in front of me, blessing after blessing after blessing. And then I said, oh, that's the formula to be right here. Because I watched other people who, you know, bullshitted. I could tell they were, you know, still kind of messing around out there. Hey, I said, where you from? On the side. And I was like, you know, but they were stuck in the same BS that they came in with. And it was, I felt like the Holy Spirit was saying, make your choice. What do you want to do? Stay stuck, or do you want my blessings? So of course I said, I want the blessings. And then, you know, talking to Fahima, our therapist, our only therapist at the time that I remember. And then opening up, being vulnerable in front of my brothers and sisters, which is super, super hard to do. Still kind of hard, but yet now it's a lot more easier. You know, I appreciate the tears that come out, that need to come out when they come out. And then watch my life just open up. Watch my, you know, visualize my dreams and just, you know, one of my biggest dreams was about traveling. So I wanted to get out. I wanted to see the world. I wanted to do certain things. And I had major obstacles that most people would say, like, there's no way. I had $40,000 of child support. But I visualized my passport coming in my hands, and I did some things with the IRS. Next thing you know, poof, 40 grand gone, able to get my passport. Father Greg saying, you got your passport, son? Get ready, I'm sending you somewhere. And boom, my dreams started to happen. That part of the dreams, I have many other dreams though. And moved my way up the ranks of Homeboys. And I had the honor of sitting on Father Greg's desk whenever he's not in. And it has been, my life has been a dream. It's been so, so awesome. Bumps, and, you know, there's still valleys and peaks, you know, and the beauty of that is understanding how to deal with that. I know how I dealt with it back in the days, through violence, you know, and numbing myself in certain ways. But now, I know a better way, and I stay healthy. And this is, and I'm living a healthy life, and I love that. So I'm gonna open to my brothers and sisters. When I look right here at this panel, I see a crazy past. I see things that should astonish people to be like, that's crazy. I look at Chris Miller and Victor Key, Carizma and David Pina. And I look at, and even myself, and say, you know, throughout these boxes that you're looking at, you see 64.5 years of incarceration in these boxes. That's crazy. But this is what the system, that we have given our lives to the system because of the craziness of the world that we came from. David Pena went into the system at 11 years old, did 22 years in prison. Carizma Brown. I think about Carizma, and I think about when she came to Homeboys, I think around 14, 15 years old. And, you know, this little girl coming in and being with this, she came with this little Brian. And I love the way they followed around Father Greg. It's just like, you can see the joy in their faces. And and kicking them down with feria, and they'll go get their foods and stuff like that. And I thank God that Carizma has only done 6 months of incarceration, and I really feel that because her at her young age coming to Homeboy Industries, she's not a pintera. She hasn't been to the joint and done a lot of this time. I have Chris Miller, going in at 15 years old, and throughout his life did 8 years in prison. And I got Victor Key, who at a very young age of 8 years old did a total of 30 years incarcerated. And I remember when he came to Homeboy, just stiff as a board, and just like, woof, all right, we gotta work cut out with this dude when he came in. And I did total 4 years that, from a child, 14 years old to, the last time I was out, it was young. I was about 20 years old. And yeah, so this is crazy. The beautiful thing is that every one of us came to Homeboy Industries, and every one of us that I say got bit by Homeboy Industries, got bit with the love, and maybe we went back to prison, but it was not the same. And we'll talk about that in a little while. So I'm gonna open up with David Pina. David,
Yeah.
give us a 15-minute glimpse of your life, man, of how you lived when you were, growing up as a kid, the gang stuff that you had to deal with, and then how you made your way to Homeboys. I know it's only 15 minutes, so just give us the best that you can, brother.
Okay. Well, good morning, everybody. My name is David Pina. I'm 37 years old. I've been out of prison now going on 2 years. Been with Homeboys now this time for 18 months. 18 months. Prior to me getting out of prison this time, the last time I was out was in 2014, and that's when I was first introduced to Homeboy Industry. I had got out of prison from doing a 9-year term the first time. I came through the doors, and that's when I noticed everything as far as how things were here. But I look at it as like, at that time, I really wasn't mentally ready because of due to my situation prior to getting out of prison. On my first 9 years, my last 8 years of my 9 years, I spent in solitary confinement in the SHU. So going straight from the SHU to the streets, I was, I guess you could say I was very, I kept to myself. I wasn't really open to talking to people, and basically like everybody to me was sort of, I guess it was like alienating. I would alienate everybody because I would want everybody to be at a far from me. I didn't want no one close. I didn't want to let anybody close into me. But that stems even further from the prison term prior to that. It stems from my childhood as well. Now, my first time getting locked up, I was 11 years old. It was shortly after I was introduced to getting into my neighborhood. My family's from my neighborhood. My mother, my brothers, my grandfather, everybody from my family is from the same neighborhood as mine. So it's like, I would say I was born into it pretty much. My surroundings, you walk out the door, you're in the neighborhood, sort of like how you said, Hector, you were born in the projects. I was born pretty much in the same thing all around me. So to me, it wasn't something, to me, it was normal. I didn't look at like the gang members being bad or the drugs or any of that. To me, it's like, I thought that was the thing that we were supposed to do, to me, something that was not normal was like fishing, going to beaches, riding horses, stuff like that. To me, that was like, okay, that's out of my element as a kid. Now, prior to me getting incarcerated as a juvenile, I had been through the foster homes and all that. My mom was a real good mom. My mom didn't want me nor my brothers to be a part of it. But I mean, myself, like every other kid or teenager, when you don't want a teenager or a kid to do something, that tends to drive them to want to do it even more. Now, even though my mom was a part of the neighborhood all her life and everything, as a parent, she wanted better for her children. But it's something, like I said, it came natural to us. So what she never realized was that what was natural to her, we seen it as like, okay, well, let's do it, you know? Now, growing up in the foster homes and all that, it was hard because they take you away from your home as a juvenile, as a kid, well, as a kid, really, because they deem your household not fit. Your parents are not fit to watch over you. So they put you into foster homes or into placement homes because they deem that these places are going to be able to be fit for you to help raise you or to put you in some kind of suitable placement. But that's not always the case. A lot of the times it's just a paycheck to them. You know, it's just a paycheck. And I can't say that for every single foster home because I can't speak for them. All I could do is speak from my experiences and what I've been through. And I don't want to paint a picture that everybody's bad because they're not, you know. Now, the difficult thing for me growing up is schooling and all that. I was never the best at schools. I've never been the best at like technical things. I'm more of like a hands-on kind of individual, you know. Now, going throughout my life and experiencing these things, like you said, the death and the drugs. I myself, I've never really experienced with drugs, but drugs has been a big part of my family, from my mother to my brothers and everybody. And I looked at it like, a lot of people ask me now as an older individual, like, hey, David, we're surprised that you didn't do drugs, that you've never done this drug or done that drug. And my only answer to that is because I know what drugs will do to you, because I seen it in my own family. My mother, in 2007, I was in a penitentiary. My mom, she passed away of cirrhosis of the liver. My other brother, I have an older brother, he passed away due to gang violence. I have a sister now and another brother. My brother's addicted to heroin. He's out in the streets. My sister, God bless her soul, I love her. To me, she was like my mom. The whole time I was gone, when my mom wasn't able to be there for me as an adult in prison, my sister looked out for me, you know. She turned her life around. For 19 years, she was clean. You know, she was away from the streets, away from the drugs. 19 going on 20 years, clean, nothing. And this time, me getting out, I went to see my sister and she relapsed. And now she lost everything. She lost her home, lost her job, and she's going from house to house. And it hurts. It hurts to see my family, like my oldest brother. I'll go to the store in my neighborhood to shop with my fiance and my kid, and I'll see my brother walking through the parking lot asking for change, panhandling, and it hurts. And then to see my sister, what she's going through, it hurts because I wish there was more that I could do, but I know at the same time, like, I myself am struggling, not physically, but I'm struggling a mental battle A mental battle is where I'm still on parole. I'm going on 2 years out. So basically, you have 1 foot out and you have 1 foot still in, meaning any little thing you do wrong, David, you could go back and you could end up facing life. I'm a 2-striker. I've been blessed to come back out here, and I don't wanna throw these blessings away. Now, I'm kind of like all around in my story. So
We're following you, brother.
I went to prison in my early 20s. I did 9 years. My first year, it went by quick. My last 8 years went by even quicker, being in the shoe. Now, I went in there as a kid, mentally, and forced to basically, due to my situations, become a man in there, humble myself, and to basically to teach myself how to read, how to write, how to have patience. Now, in those last 8 years, going through that, there's a lot of things that I went through. I paroled in 2014, but prior to 2014, in 2011 and in 2013, I was there present when there was hunger strikes in the shoe. I went through all that. Now, going through all that is the reason why they closed down the shoes for everybody, and they sent everybody back out there. So I went through those struggles. So to go through those struggles and to come out here after the 9 years, like, I thought I was ready in my mind, like, okay, I don't want to go back to prison no more. I don't want to live that life no more. I think like I'm mentally grown now. But when I get out here in 2014, I see the cars, I see the money, I see the fast life. But then when I walk through Homeboy's doors, I get greeted with a hug, and I'm looking at people like, a hug? I mean, I hadn't got a hug in a long time. So after I hugged, the first person I seen was you, Hector. Matter of fact, I came in here because I came with my mother and my kids. She was getting tattoo removal, and she wanted me to come with her. And I really didn't want to come at first because I didn't really know too much about it, you know. But I came and I was standing at the well, and she was signing in, and you walked up to me and said, "Hey, bro, you looking for a job?" And I said, "No, I'm just here getting tattoo removal with the mother of my kids." And you said, "Can I talk to you?" Boom, you pulled me in, and that was it. You know, you hugged me and we talked. You told me to come back. I came back. I went through the process of becoming a trainee, but due to my mentality, I was only here for a few months. Mm-hmm. And I reoffended, and I got locked up again. I went back to prison. Mm-hmm. The 9 years for me was not easy, but I could tell you personally, it was a cakewalk compared to these last 5 years that I did. Now, the reason I say that is because going back to prison after doing the 9 years, for me was the hardest thing. Not because, oh, I need someone to look out, or I missed this, or I no, what was the hardest thing for me was because coming to Homeboys, I got a breath of life. Yeah. And when I was sitting back in the county jail, it's like I knew I was hurting inside because I knew that I had something that was good, and I didn't take advantage of it at that moment. Mm-hmm. But I didn't want to beat myself up about the situation because I didn't want to look at it as my downfall. What I turned it around, and I looked at it as a setup for me to rise further than what I would have rose the first time. I look at it as like I was not ready then. And I believe in God a lot. I've been through a lot of things in my life, and I believe in God, and I believe that the reason why I'm here is because of God. God gave me a second chance after that first term, and I didn't take advantage of, I took advantage of my chances. I took advantage of the help that Homeboys was giving me at that moment, you know, because I felt that I knew all the cards to play. Yeah. And I felt that I was ahead of the game, and I knew which card to throw down next. But little did I know is I was wrong, you know. I was wrong, and I needed help. And I was too shy. I was too proud, machismo, to ask somebody or to take the advice when someone would try to tell me like, hey, you're doing this, you're doing that, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. Oh, don't trip, homie, I got this, I know what I'm doing. I was wrong. I didn't know what I was doing. You know, I let myself get wrapped up into the things the glamorous things. Yeah. And now getting out, going through this, it's a funny story, because when I tell you the breadth of life of Homeboy Industries, I was introduced to certain things coming through those doors the first time that I never been introduced to. Number one is altogether 21 years through the juvenile system and then the adult system. I've never been to a Dodger game, never been to the beach, never been to Disneyland, Knoxbury Farm, none of those things, you know. Thanks to COVID-19, I was going to go to a Dodger game, but that's a wrap right now. The beaches, everything like that, even though I haven't been to it, I find myself kind of scared to go experience them things, because sometimes, like, when we're in our own little square, our own little box, we get scared to step out of it. Yeah. Which I know I should, you know, but sometimes our own mind is our worst enemy. Yeah.
So I'm gonna stop you right there real quick, David. But I'm telling you right now, so you know I keep on trying to invite you to these things, and you're gonna come one of these days, dog. You know what I mean? I'm even thinking about doing a cutout of your face and throwing it in Dodger Stadium. You know they're doing the cutouts now. Yeah. David's mug right there. That'll be feed, man. But yeah, man. Thank you for sharing, brother. All right. And you know, I feel you when you talk about, like, as you're talking, I'm thinking about you getting, you know, like what I talk about, getting bit by Homeboy, and then you get busted again. Yeah. And for whatever reason, I would throw this on God. The mystical thing is, were you able to go back, be incarcerated again, reflect on the organization and reflect on the love that you felt here, that breath of fresh air. Yeah. And for whatever reason, you're in there. Boom, you do your time. First thing you did when you got out is come right back. Wow. And you've been on track. You know what I mean? And I hope you never see the inside of a cell again, brother. And little by little, brother, I hope that you're going to experience, you know, having more experiences here at Homeboy and in your own life, you know. Open up little by little. It's hard. I know the fear is hard, and that's why we do what we do, is to say, let's take fear. Let's face it. Let's get over it, you know, and that will happen, brother. I'm glad you're with us, bro. I'm gonna move on to let me see, the youngster of the crowd, Miss Carizma. Carizma, you know, you came in here when you were what, about 14, 15 years old, right?
Yeah. Give
us a 15-minute glimpse of your life before you came here. How was it as a child? And you know, then, you know, coming into Homeboy, and you know, we have the
bit by Homeboys.
Damn right. Go on from there, homegirl. No, start from the beginning.
Well, my name is Carizma Brown. I grew up in South Central Los Angeles. And then eventually I moved like to Chinatown, but I grew up in the Crips. All my families, they Crips and stuff like that. But I never been involved in that type of life. I was into the money thing, trying to make money, trying to figure out a way to get out of what my mom and my family had me in, basically like poverty. So that's how I got in most of my trouble, just trying to make a way out, being in a predicament to where it wasn't a way out. So eventually my family moved to different projects. I came to an area in Chinatown. It's called the Dogtown Projects. It's in Chinatown, Los Angeles. I know there's probably a lot of people on here from different parts of the world, country. So I'm trying to be exact on where this is leading to. So eventually I came here to Homeboys about like 15, 14. I was on probation for selling weed at school. Yeah, I was selling weed at school. I was doing a lot of, headless things. I met Father Greg, met Hector, I met the team, and I never left. I used to take some of the classes here, like the AAs and the NA, and I used to hear what the people was going through, and I used to be like, dang, I don't want to be like them, or let me look at it in a good way and learn from these people. And that's one of the things that I loved about Homeboys. They didn't judge on what age you are or where you come from. It was like a family thing. But they always get on me because I wouldn't want to go to the high school. I want to see how what the adults were going through, which is like it's two facilities that I went to at Homeboys. And one, it was just pure adults that had the real struggle, the tough stuff. So I want to hear about it. But they always told me if I wanted a job here and I wanted to work, I would have to go to school. So I'll be dodging them and stuff just to hear what other people's struggle was and how I can avoid these obstacles in life. And that basically one of the things that saved me. Well, Homeboy saved me from a lot of stuff that I would have been going through that I didn't have to go through. So that's one big impact on my life, and I actually took it and ran with it because I don't want to be learning from these mistakes too late or involving myself in something that I can't get myself out of. So I just moved forward and went to the high school. I'm a high school graduate now. I'm working on I'm working on something different with the youth so I can help people that are growing up so they don't have to wait till it's too late, to actually learn or stuff become more permanent in their life, catch a felony, and then there's things you can't get rid of. So that's just something that I'm really pushing forward to, helping people that was like me, which is being young in the homeboys community and learning from the stuff that other people has went through and not trying to be, that same young person trying to think, oh, I could do this, I could be hard, or I want to be with the gangs, because they publicize it and when you're growing up that it's good to go to jail, it's good to be in the hood. Like I was saying, my whole family gang bang, but I chose to do things different. So I never really been attracted to that. But if it was left up to where I come from, I probably would have been in prison right now or dead at 23, A lot of the times growing up in the hood and growing up in poverty, when you 20 and 23, that's the time that life be really hitting you to where you either be dead or you be in jail permanently. So like this time in my life right now is very impactful, and I just look at all the resources and all the help that they have here at Homeboys, and that's just something that I take with me so I don't have to be like, learning too late or going to jail for years. So I'm kind of one of the people that walk through these doors early. So I got blessed that I didn't have to go do 8 years to learn that, it's not for me. I actually could look at it and observe it and do things in a different way and still be successful. You know what I'm saying? That's just something that I do.
Cool, man.
Homeboys, ooh, I came a long way with homeboys. Hector been knowing me for a while. He knows a lot of things, you know, my mom getting shot, my best friend, my brother. So he been there all through the step of the way with me, and he's seeing the progression I came from. But I'm telling you, without homeboys, I probably would never graduated high school because I wasn't on the road to that. I wouldn't have been enrolled at college. I wouldn't be having a passport, you know. So it's just it's a good resource. They have good tools here. It's like a good family. You know what I mean? I would promote it to anybody, and I would recommend anybody to come here. And I'm just so happy that now they're working on a reentry program for the youth, because that's just something that was basically me coming in here young. And I can't wait to see the options, and I can't wait to see the future with that. That's cool. I love homeboys, man. It's the best thing that ever happened to me.
It's the best thing that ever happened to most of us right here, though. I think all of us, actually.
Yeah.
You know what? I forgot to ask David. David, what do you do, homeboy? For homeboys right now. I mean, I know that things have changed. You know, we're dealing with COVID. I think you have a very important role. If you don't mind, can you explain that?
Yeah, right now, due to the COVID-19 and everything, I'm working out in the front. So basically working with another partner of mine, working the front lines. We're checking people's temperature, making sure that they're good to come into the facility here. And we're making sure that there's only a certain amount of numbers, because we want to have the 6 feet distance and everything. So we're basically doing what we were doing in the well, but now we're doing it. We took our well basically outside.
Right.
So that way we're making sure everything's good before they enter into the building.
That's right. So you're making everybody safe, you know, through this pandemic. You know, things changed. We got Father Greg outside, you know, in his Afghanistan tent. But, you know, I love that we're not closed down as other people are closed down, you know, and you know, the community clients that are coming in, they're looking for, you know, a way out, just like we all did when we came to Homeboy Industries. I love that we're open, man. I know, and even through the worst of the COVID, you know, we had still people here saying, you know, when we were like completely shut down, still here giving out gift bags to brothers and sisters that were coming out of jail, and everything is shut down. That must have been gosh, to be able to say, like, what do I do now? You know, there's nothing open. But you know, I love that we gave out socks and deodorant and, you know, things that keep yourself clean, and you know, really just passing out hope is the best way we can. But now we're open. You know, you guys are right there making sure that this building is safe and you know, safe from COVID. Everybody's mandatory, got their masks on and all that stuff, and thank you for doing what you're doing. And you too, Carizma, you're doing the same thing on the First Street side. So
yeah, with the youth.
That must be hard to have a bunch of kids going over there and saying, I don't want to wear my mask.
Yeah, they you know, you got to get used to it. This is like something new.
Yeah.
And, you know, that not saying that a lot of the young adults, they're careless, but that's just what it is. You know, you got to teach them. You got to keep telling them and telling them. But it's all right. Hopefully we get through it and we grow together.
That's right.
But they got a lot of things going on over there at that other site with the youth right now. That's very helpful. And I'm pretty sure they appreciate it right now, because a lot of things are closed. So they getting, you know, the help and the resources why other schools are closed. So that's just something that
we have a great team over there, man. We got Maria and Rulis and you and Gabriel, and it's awesome, man. You guys are killing it, and it's gonna only get better. I know that. So the big homes, Chris Miller, what's up, dog? You're live over there.
What's the deal, Hank? Huh?
All right. So big dog, we're gonna you know, same thing, brother. You know, if you could give us a little glimpse of your life, you know, from the beginning, or you know, maybe your childhood, and then you know, I'm sure incarceration and, you know, like most of us, you know, placement, foster care, and joint stuff like that. So shoot it, big homie. 15.
Okay, well, my name's Chris Miller. I've been at Homeboys for a year now. even though I've been knowing about Homeboys since I was like 28. In 2008 is when I first walked through the doors.
Mm-hmm.
But my childhood is no different from Davis or Carizma or yours, Hector. Y'all just took me down memory lane, bro. You feel me? So it was hard for me growing up because I'm the youngest of 7, so I got beat up a lot by my brothers and my sisters.
Yeah.
My sisters dressed me up as Barbie dolls, and my
Oh,
brothers would beat me up, you know? So being the youngest of 7 was hard, bro.
Yeah, I bet.
Family was gang members. You know, when I walk out the door, it was at my front steps, the alcohol, the drugs, you know, everything was at my front porch. So it wasn't no shaking it as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I learned how to load a gun before I got my first kiss.
Mm.
You know, and it was crucial growing up where all you knew was violence. So when you and David was saying about, you know, the gang members, I felt I was safe around them because I was comfortable. When I go to school or go somewhere where I don't got that net over me, that's where I felt uncomfortable. And that's when I would stray away from it. Oh, I got to get back to the hood. I got to go back to the homies.
Mm-hmm.
I'm comfortable around the alcohol, the drugs, making money. As a kid, bro, I was only like 12 years old. You know, before I learned how to chop a bag and sell it and make my own money. I got tired of being in hand-me-downs as a kid. I'm the youngest of 7, like I said, so I got my brother clothes from high school, too big. You know, I'm wearing that kind of stuff in the streets and getting talked about.
Mm.
But that didn't feel too good, so it pushed me to robbing and jacking and, you know, taking that burden off my mama where she didn't have to feed or clothe me no more at 12, 13 years old, you know?
Yeah.
And then, you know, it was just so much on when I first caught my case, it was a robbery case at like at 14, 15 years old, caught my first robbery case. It wasn't even armed robbery. It was just it was a jacking, you know, I just took it. But when I got caught, the dude said I had a knife and I stuck him up with a knife. You feel me? So that sent me to the camp program. And the whole time I'm thinking like, he lied on me, you know? But in my mind, I'm like, you gotta wait for so much. It finally caught up with you and it booked you. So then when I got out, I'm like, you know what? Okay, I felt like everybody lied on me, you know? So I said, you know what? I'm not gonna fight you no more. I'm gonna pick a gun up and I'm gonna take it that way. I'm gonna make it easier on me. I'm not about to sit in the streets and fight you no more. So I was 15, 16 out here robbing people with a gun, a kid. So when I approach people, they'd be like, oh, what your little butt want? Until I pull out that pistol and they'd be like, oh, you serious? Yeah, I need to eat out here, you know? I didn't want to do it. I had to do it, you know? And then it was to the point where when I first got locked up, bro, it was just a bad experience. I mean, jail is not supposed to be a good experience, but just the extra fighting, the extra getting banged on. It didn't teach me a lesson. It turned me worse. You know, the only thing that I really like, the waking up in the morning and marching to go yell at a flag, talking about David Gonzalez. That's 5:30 in the morning, dog. That I didn't feel that. You feel me? I didn't like that. I didn't appreciate it. My freedom getting took. I'm eating bull. You know.
I remember that Gonzalez program.
Man,
the corners and all that stuff, military stuff.
I'm marching, bro. I'm marching.
Yeah.
I'm marching the field, left, right. Oh, I'm uncomfortable for sure. You know, I'm thugging. I don't know nothing about no marching.
Yeah, I never had discipline in your life, dog. I feel you.
None of that, you know.
Just trying to shove it down your throat right there.
Oh man, you know, fifis and all that. So, but keep going though. But yeah, I was like, you know, then I got out, still hard-headed, still missing direction. You know, still listening to the streets and taking on the dream that they sold me. You know, the pretty dream they sold me. Mm-hmm. One thing I feel like the streets sold me a pretty dream, but at Homeboys they gave me the ugly truth. You know, and I accept that. You know, because I didn't know where I was going. I was still lost before I came to Homeboys. When I came through the door of Homeboys, bro, it was a lot of Hispanics. You know, I didn't really see anybody I knew. You know, the homie told me to come up here. He was like, come up here, get a job. Come up here, get a job. So I walked through the door, and I first came through here in 2008. I walked through the door. I tried to get on G list. I seen everybody, you know, on his list, and go. I talked to G for like 2 minutes. But since he was so busy, it was like, you know, hey, son, okay, come see me, give me a handshake, gave me $20, give me something to eat, kick me out. So I came back out to the lobby. We're like, damn, what the fuck I'm doing here, you know? And I'm looking around, I'm uncomfortable. I see all the gang members, see enemies. And then I'm like, nah, I don't need to be here because I'm end up getting into it up here. And then I'm go right back to the pen. So then I left, and then my boy hit me. He said, man, where you at? I said, oh, I ain't coming back up there. Man, there's so many enemies up there. I don't see how you do it. He said, man, you got to get this thing a try, man. You got to work on it. You want to change or you want to stay in the hood? So then I came back up here and I started going to them classes, man. It worked on me, you know, but Homeboy's really like, it took me to places where I never thought I'd go, bro. I went to Memphis. Father G Unit, I call him G Unit. But Father G, he took me to Memphis to the Martin Luther King Motel, bro. I walked through that whole thing for 2 hours. You know how that affected me as a black man, bro, growing up, bro, to read my history, to see all that, bro. It was a life-changing event, bro. To walk in the Martin where he got murdered at, to read upon the whole Memphis movement, the black movement, the racism, all that, to be in that hotel, bro, where he got killed at, that touched me. It took me 2.5 hours to walk through the whole hotel because I wanted to soak it in, and never crossed my mind a million years in my life I would think I would go to the Martin Luther King Hotel. So it was like Father G took me out the hood, and I only felt I had to appreciate it because the homies in the hood never did nothing but gave me a sack, bro. Gave me a gun. Gave me misdirection, told me to hit this alcohol, smoke this weed, you feel me? Hang on the street corner with me. That's your enemy, go shoot on him. I don't know nothing about that dude, you know? Why would you send me that way? But me being a kid, I went. And it was just like, as I look back on my life, you, David, and Carizma, everything you guys said, bro, I was sitting over here just having a flashback, bro. And it brought back so many memories. Like right now, I'm all over the place too, David. You feel me? I'm all around too because I'm just sitting here like, oh, I want them to know this. I want them to know this. But I'm going to get back down to here at Homeboys. Man, there's so much love, man. At home. You know, I never thought that I could be embraced like this. You know, I came up here with the mentality of F the world, you know, didn't have no direction and didn't want to get to know nobody. I had to, you know, I want to take that burden off my shoulder of me carrying this hate around. You know, I've been taking it around my whole life. I just want to get rid of it. You know, me losing my brothers. I'm the youngest of 7. I got 2 brothers in the grave, one to diabetes, one to gang violence. So when I lost my brother to gang violence, it turned me evil. You know, I was just down for whatever. Then I had to get that hatred out of my heart, man. And being up here at Homeboys, man, they helped me fight them demons, bro. That's why I think we all got in common, bro. We all wanted to change our lives, man. We was running from the lifestyle, bro. And I feel like here at Homeboys, this is my family because they fight with me every day. It's hard for me to come here every day, to do right every day. It's not easy, but here at Homeboys, as I come with my brothers and sisters, we laugh, we joke, you feel me? We do everything together, eat together, chill, work. I do intakes in the well at Homeboys, you know? So everybody come through the door, I help them out, see what direction they going through, AA, parenting, everything. Homeboys got tattoo removal. They got a lot of resources. I'm doing GED right now. You know, I'm trying to work on myself too. So Homeboys just got a lot. I'm doing, I told you NA, like I say, right now, I'm just trying to work on me because I want to better myself. I got kids, bro. I got kids, and I don't want to look like no dummy to them. They look up to me, you know. So I changed my life for them.
You're a hell of a dude, Holmes. You know, you have a great attitude. I'm glad you're in the front handling that. You know, people get to see you and David usually in the front with Toby. And that's a great team, man, to welcome brothers and sisters that walk through the doors, have the same kind of fears, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
kind of level 4 yard in prison, you know what I mean? And to see you guys, to see with your smiles, understanding what they've gone through, walking those doors, what a great welcoming, you know, that you guys offer the community, man. So I love it that you guys are there, and you guys do an awesome job. I'm gonna move it on, big homie, to Big Vic, Vic the Keys. Vic, you know, I remember when Vic came, like I said, this brother came in stiff as a board when he came to Homeboy, but gave it a try, and it's been an honor to walk with you while you've been here, brother. But if you can, give us a little 15-minute piece of how your life was before, during, and where you're at now, Big Holmes.
All right. Since I am a little bit older than everybody in this panel right here, I'm gonna have to take you a little bit back to the beginning when it all started, and it's gonna go back to, I'm gonna take it back to 1978, the day of my birthday. I think the turning point in my life was losing my dad at a young age. To me, my dad was my hero, my idol. He used to walk around the neighborhood, take me, I would be holding on to his pinky. I comb my hair to this day like my dad. He was a big, handsome, good-looking dude. Everybody, he made his presence be known wherever he went. And I'm at a young age, I mean, I always wanted to impress him because he was a boxer in Cuba. I mean, unfortunately, he fell kind of in the wrong direction as well. Ended up over here in LA. But at a young age, my dad, you know, he had me doing things to try to impress him with his friends, fighting other little kids. When they used to put socks on our hands and fighting. And if I would win, he would take me to McDonald's to go get French fries. Cause I used to like McDonald's French fries. It was just the beginning of a pattern. I just wanted to be so much like my dad at a young age, watching fights. I still remember watching the last Muhammad Ali Leon Spinks fight on September 15th, 1978. Unfortunately, on November 24th, 1978, which would happen to be my birthday, we were planning a trip. He asked me, "Hey, champ, where you want to go for your birthday?" I wanted to go to the San Diego Zoo. Why the San Diego Zoo? I have no clue. I wanted just to go. My mom said, okay. Take him to the San Diego Zoo. That day of that morning, I remember like it was just yesterday. My dad was in the restroom getting ready, to get ready. And I was playing with my little Hot Wheels at the time. And when my dad stepped out, he actually fell down. But I thought my dad was playing. I didn't realize that he had a heart attack. And then when he laid down, when he fell, I was the only one at the house. And instead of calling 911, or I didn't know what to really do. So I just thought maybe he was tired. He was taking a nap. He was laying down. And I was getting a little tired too. So, you know, I laid on my dad's chest and took a nap myself. I didn't know that he was dead. I didn't know that he had a heart attack. It was his third heart attack. He didn't take care of himself. He passed away. I remember him lifting up his eyes and, "Hey, people, are we going to go? Are we going to leave? What time we leave?" So I just figured that we ain't going. Sure enough, with my mom, and we called the paramedics and all this stuff. When we found out that he did pass, I mean, I know I felt a lot of, for many years, I felt that it was my fault. So
that's tough, brother.
To this day, I won't ever go to San Diego Zoo. So, you know, it is what it is. He passed. I had that hate, that anger. But instead of my older homies, I knew about the neighborhood. My dad was real friendly. He used to drink with all the homies in the neighborhood. Instead of the homies guiding me in the right direction, because I threw away a gift that my dad, it was passed down, which was boxing. He had me fighting older kids, got me into boxing. I made a name for myself in boxing. And I had a little brother.
Yeah, I know you're dealing with that right now, brother. I'm sorry.
So it was really me, my mom, and my brother. And instead of my older homies guiding me to pursue my boxing career, these fools had me recruiting people, beating up everybody in the neighborhood. And when I mean everybody, it was people that I would stand on the porch, wait till they come out of school, look for my enemies, and I would make it a point. I had a checklist that I had to beat you up once or 2 or 3 times a day. And then I wanted my little brother to be tough, not to be messed with. So I used to beat him up. And unfortunately, I never knew how to say, I love you.
Mm-hmm.
I used to beat him up every day,
Mm-hmm.
like 5 times a day. So I didn't want him to be no punk Hector. You know, you met my little brother, David. I don't know if you met my little brother. My little brother was All-American, all CIF St. Paul High School linebacker. He was a badass. I mean, he was no punk.
Yeah, it was
tomorrow will be 2 months that he's been dead.
Mm.
So as I going back to the story, after my dad died in 1978, 2 weeks after my dad died, I went to the neighborhood. They used to call me Little Cuba because my dad was Big Cuba. I used to pull my hair. I used to be everything like, I wanted to be like my dad. I wanted to be like the homie Lion Lote. These were big individuals. They were back then. That's when there was weights in the joints. Everybody was buff. They had all the beautiful women, all the beautiful cars, all the money. I wanted to be like them. And I had so much hate and anger to everybody. So when I utilized my skills, I said, I want in, man. Because, man, you're just a little kid, man. I mean, I want to get jumped in. And they didn't even, it was to the point where they didn't even have people, everybody was too big to jump me in. I mean, so it was like a Mickey Mouse jumping me in. It was 2 weeks after my 8th birthday. After my 8th birthday here, homie, and they gave me a 22 pistol, I mean, and they said, you know what, I want you to go to that cul-de-sac to these lights and blow out those lights out. That way when people come in here, we used to sell Sherman in my neighborhood in that dead end. When they come in, there's no lights in the neighborhood. And I go feed me. So me and my homeboy Sniper, we went and we did this. But unfortunately, I didn't have no aim back then. I still don't got no aim. But we were shooting up at them lights, and I hit one. But it was in broad daylight, and some of the neighbors called the cops. And sure enough, I got arrested. I got picked up. I went to LP Los Padrinos, but I was only, like I said, I was only 2 weeks after I turned 8 years old. And I'm not going to lie. Now that I'm older, I'm over 50 years old now. I'm not going to say my exact age, but I'm over 50.
You look like a youngster, big dog.
He would, I was scared, man. I was scared. I was like, wow, man, I'm right here in Los Padrinos. I'm 8 years old. They ain't having started no puberty or anything yet, man. And everybody was walking up to me. Oh, look at how cute this little kid. I've always been the youngest. That's why I've seen Carizma. I've known Carizma for a minute too. I was always the youngest in my neighborhood. I was always the youngest when I went to when I went in certain barracks, and when I was in YA, when I went to prison, when I went to La Pinta. I was 18 years old. I wanted to make a name, and I had so much hate. I had so much anger. I come from a neighborhood that wasn't very big, and I just wanted to be known. As long as you remember me, that's all I cared about. I told me and my homeboy Sniper, we had made a pact that we're going to make it be known. I mean, whether it be fighting or picking up swords or shooting people, I didn't care back then. So this pattern, it began the pattern in 1978, back and forth until I hit YA. I was taken away from my mom at 11 years old, became ward of the court. And I always clarify that my mom was not a bad mother. She was just, I was just out of control. But I always remember when my dad said, you're the man of the house. Now you got to take care of the family. So since I wasn't ready from the neighborhood, I did not want my little brother to follow in my footsteps. So I told everybody in my neighborhood, you get my little brother in my neighborhood, I'm coming after you and everybody you love. I mean, and I meant that, and I meant it, and they know how serious I was about it. I wanted, since I threw away my skills, me and my little brother were stars in our city in baseball, football, boxing. But for my bad choices, my bad decisions, I kept going to juvenile camps. I've been to Camp Gonzalez. I know about all the old marching. When you said the marching, it brought back memories. And I've even teased my wife and showed her how I made my bed and marching, cutting corners. I hated that stuff, man. I mean, I hated any kind of discipline, any kind of authority. When I got to YA, I grew up in the era when it was gangbanging was at its highest. I mean, I could recall, I told G, I can recall going to funerals every 2 weeks. I mean, back in the early 80s. I mean, I went to YA, still remember my YA number, 444378. I mean, with my YA number, get out of YA, went right to the joint. I never had a mindset to stay out. I mean, I never had I wish I heard of Homeboys, and my mom told me about it because I got out of YA in 89, and Homeboy started in 1988. I knew who Father Greg, my mom used to tell me about Father Greg back in 1984. But I used to hear about it. I go, man, I ain't trying to work at no bakery, man. I ain't trying to do all that. I would go CG, but just to get a blessing. That's it. I did not want to change my life. I still wanted to poke in, and I had a lot of hate, a lot of animosity, a lot of anger. So when I went to the joint, I could still did that. I mean, I guess the turning point what really brought me to Homeboys was his last term. I did 10 years. And I still remember when I got the 10 years, my brother came to visit me right here at Twin Towers, and he was crying. I go, man, what you crying for, man? He goes, man, I'm not gonna see you for Latin again, and I know you're gonna end up getting caught up in the mix or something, and you're gonna end up maxing, you're gonna end up doing the whole 10 years. And he was right. I mean, everything my little brother said was right, because he said the things you do, carnal, are not normal. I mean, you may think they're normal, but they're not normal. The way you think, the way you act, you need to do something different, man, if you're gonna make it out here. And you know what? He was right. I didn't realize the things that I did and the people. It was always about the neighborhood, and I didn't know how to get a job. I mean, and I guess the turning point when I was in the shoe, the last 2 years, I remember I had the last 2 years in the shoe to go before I got released. It was 2 years to go. I was in the shoe. I got validated. The last 7 years I did in the shoe, and I remember my mom came to visit me. And, you know, when you're in the shoe, they see you behind the glass, and I see my mom. She was already in her 70s, man, with white hair. And I remember going back in time, going back to 1978 when she visited me at Los Padrinos. She was a beautiful lady with no gray hairs. I mean, and I was like, and sneaking me little gummy bears in her bra and stuff. And I told my mom, damn, man, look at all these years that passed. I remember I was the youngest everywhere I went. I was like, man, who's that little kid, man? What are you doing here? I mean, I was always in the mix, man. But that little kid, I was always had knives or I had a gun on me. I was always ready. And it was the same thing for the joint. I volunteered for everything because I wanted people to know who I was. And I told my mom, man, I just asked God. I remember going back to my cell and I cried, man. I cried and I go, man, I just want my mom to be alive. Let her be alive when I get out. And, you know, I'll do something different. I mean, I'll do something different. So sure enough, when I got out, God's grace, my mom was still alive. I mean, and my mom's been telling me about G since 84. She's known Father Greg since 1984. She always teases me. I remember Father Greg when he was skinny and had hair. I mean, and I've known Father Greg for a long, long time. And I still wanted to try to do it on my own. And my little brother, I knew he would have helped me. But I said, you know what, I'm going to try to do this on my own. But luckily, I came to see Father Greg, mainly because the gang, I was validated. So my parole gave me 2 weeks, man, to get a job, or else he was going to violate me. And they were going to make some stuff up if they have to, but they were going to get me off the streets. So I told my mom, man, what am I going to do? And she said, you know what? We got to go see Father Greg. I called him. We went to go see him at Dolores Mission. And mijo, you go tomorrow and you're going to start working. I mean, and I said, all right, but I don't want to work full time. I just want to work part time. I mean, just 12 o'clock. And I made sure I brought my G128. I mean, my paperwork that I've been in the shoe, who I was affiliated, I was with, because I don't want to talk to, and I'm not working with no enemies. I mean, I'll beat them up. I told him I'm not going to, and he laughed about it. I mean, it's funny. I came here. I did come with the chip on my shoulder. I know you, I remember you, Hector. I mean, I was like, man, I ain't doing none of this stuff, man. I mean, and it's funny how little by little this place grows on you. I ended up becoming really good friends with he's a doctor now, Dr. Luis, and had me facilitate, because I used to always be a smartass in Homeboy 101 and parenting. I always showed my point of view, and he said, man, if you know all these answers, why don't you come up here and run the class? And I said, you know what, all right, I will. And it's crazy. It's how we started. And like David, like you were talking about these places that we never went to. We went to Mammoth. I never really been in me and Russell, rest in peace. That was the homie that used to work. He's no longer with us. And we said, man, we go to Mammoth. All we wanted to do was make a snow angel. I mean, I know it sounds dumb and corny, but we just wanted to make a snow angel.
Sounds beautiful to me, brother.
And then we did a snow angel, and I'm not trying to ski. I'm not trying to do none of that stuff. And I started making snowballs. I started throwing snowballs at everybody. I had a field day with just having a snowball fight. I was acting like a little kid. Sure enough, what did we do? We tried snowboarding, and I loved it. I got so good. I remember the guy told me and Russell, hey, man, you guys, we said, we want to go off a ramp. We want to jump. He goes, you've only been snowboarding a day. I go, man, I'm from LA, man. I've been in the shoe, man. I could do this, man. This is like white boy stuff. I could do this. I mean, and sure enough, what did we do? We both heard we both came back in slings, man. We heard our collarbones. We ate it. I mean, We
Yeah.
got to go bowling. I got to go bowling for the very first time with you. I went paintball. I was like a little, when I was paintballing, I took that, those were real bullets, and I was pretending they were really bullets, and I was having I never had so much fun. Snowboarding, bowling, eating at that Chinese restaurant. I mean, tasting duck. I never thought I would eat duck, and just things. And then God, Father Jesus told me, well, these are the things that you should have always been doing, that you missed out on a childhood. I'm very immature. I mean, and I remember I did not even want to do this internship at Project 180, and Mary told me, and Father G told me, I could see you being a case manager. I didn't even know what a case manager was at that time. I mean, I did the internship, and thank God. And it's crazy because today is August the 10th, the actual day I got released. August 10th, 2012, I got released from prison after doing 10 years. August the 10th, 2016, I went to an interview with Emily Bell. Emily Bell, I know she's on, hopefully she's watching. I'd say hi, Emily, my supervisor and everybody over there. She took a chance on me and gave me an opportunity to go over there. And I really love what I do. I mean, I feel like I can't go back I wish I could go back in a time machine and change all the negative stuff, all the hurt, all the violence that I did to people, but I can't. But by working at Project 180, helping all these homeless people start a new life. I mean, getting them on their meds, setting them up with PCP appointments, making sure they got all the documents when they go to court, getting them affordable housing. You know how rewarding it feels getting somebody an apartment that's never been on the streets 6-7 years, and you give them the keys to his front door, and we got him a new bedroom set, living room set, dining room set. It feels great. They're your friends for life. I mean, I see clients that I worked with before in the past, and hey, Vic, man, I love my place, man, and it feels good. I mean, because I feel like little by little, I'm making my little brother proud. Yeah. Everything I do in life now is for my brother.
That's for you, man. And you got a beautiful family too, man. I watch you with your wife and then your little girl and now your little boy. You know, it's just it's been a pleasure to walk with you, man. And I can't get the image out of my head, bro, of you and you know, you're a big dude, man. And Russell was a pretty brother, man. Yeah. And you guys laying down in the snow making snow angels, homie. That's a trip, dog. Another thing too that I wanted to say is I don't think I've ever met a person so strong-minded, you know, because I remember you talked about you're gonna, you know, and I'm gonna encourage you. I don't care what your dreams are, reach for them, homeboy. But when you said I'm gonna come back with a bout, you know, a boxing bout, and you said you started losing weight and you're boxing, then you hurt your shoulder, so you had to learn how to be a southpaw instead of regular. Oh, man, dog. And you came back with a freaking bout, man. That's just, yeah, man. That's awesome, man. Your brother's proud of you. Your father's proud of you, bro. You know, we're all proud of you, homeboy. You've come a long way. And I know this is still just the beginning. You know what I mean? You talked about how old you were. I know I'm old, but I'm going to get it anyway. Dog, you're a youngster at heart. You got a long ways to go. Life is going to get a lot better. I can't wait to see you with your kids and taking them to foreign places and doing beautiful things, Holmes. Thank you for sharing your story. Is there one thing that you wanted to say?
No, just thanks, Father Greg. I got to give a shout out to Mary Navlik, my therapist. If it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be at Project 180. If it wasn't, she literally had you got everything. I've living proof that I made Father Greg's dream into a reality. You got everything you could get out of Homeboys. I got my GED. I didn't have much of education. I didn't think I was smart, but my little brother always believed that. I mean, if anybody that makes a plan A, plan B, plan C, when you do crime, you a smart individual and get away with it. You got a little something up there. I mean,
yeah, you're a smart dude. Mary Nalik is one of our therapists right here, and she's, you know, all of our therapists are awesome. But you know, just to give you, you know, the audience some insight, Mary Nalik is the homie's therapist. We usually don't do it, but he threw it out there. So, you know, awesome therapist, and that's feedback.
One last thing. I know a lot of us, David, you can relate to. A lot of us when you're in the shoe, we can't talk to therapists. I mean, you know, when they come by, we got to wave them on by, and we could get a crossword puzzle. That's about it. But we can't talk to no therapist because they're gonna think you're snitching and stuff. So when Father Greg told me, Mijo, I think you should talk. You have a lot of doing all that time in solitary confinement. You need to talk to somebody. That hate, that anger you have for your dad, opening up to Mary and Mary. I know I'm not supposed to even say that, but her reading the Green Eggs and Hams, The Cat in the Hat, those kind of things. I never had that as a kid, and that's something that I hold very special in my heart, and I took very much pride that I used to clean that baby and me clean. I used to get on my hands and knees to make sure there's no staples, nothing that could pick these little kids or anything, because to me, little kids are our future, and I don't play that. I mean, and but just going back to Mary, just reading those books and reading little kid books I'm a validated gang member. I mean, and that took me way back. I mean, thank you, Mary.
That's awesome. Thanks for sharing your experience, man. Speaking of experiences, I want to kind of go around and, one of the things that I think about, did I mention this? I don't know if I mentioned this right here, but like I think about my Aunt Marianne. She's from the neighborhood and all that stuff. And she always had this memory of Camp Fox from Murchison Street Elementary, that all the project kids went to. And she would talk about it as an adult, and I would just listen to her and be like, man, that's it. That's the only experience that she could talk about, of getting outside of the city and experiencing this in elementary school. And I said, I don't want to be like that. I want to have a bunch of memories of places, that are completely different from the projects in LA. And so big thing that when I came to Homeboys was watching Father Greg, like really just kind of holding our hand through this, sometimes, literally through these experiences of getting on an airplane for the first time and watching us, getting all scared and stuff and nervous and everything. So, but for me, it creates these new pathways in our brain of new experiences. And I know from my own experience of just like, of how it opens us up, and even though we carry the fear that David was talking about, and that all of us actually feel when we're trying something new, and we say, well, we only seen this in, for me, in National Geographic magazines, and only, privileged people get to have these experiences, not us, not me, and at Homeboys, we're going to change that narrative. We're going to change that, and individually, and so I want to touch on that. David, what was your experience? I remember you talking about you went somewhere with Father Greg. Can you explain that?
Yeah. Well, right when I got out this time, I went on a trip with Father G to San Francisco.
Yeah.
That was my first time ever really even being out anywhere outside of my city, going outside of my city was like to East LA or downtown LA. That was far to me. So to go to San Francisco and to be able to see the San Francisco Bridge, that was a big impact on my life, and yeah. I hold that and I'll forever have those memories. And one thing that I did want to say to everybody, and this goes out to that man, to that woman that's at their lowest, that's out there gang banging, that finds themselves in a place in their life to where they want the change, but they don't know whether or not they're ready. Look at me, look at Vic, look at Carizma, look at Chris. We're doing it. We've been through the struggles and we're here. Don't look at my face when you walk through those doors and say, oh, that's where he's from. Look at his neighborhood. No, these are my scars. These tattoos are my story, and my story is what I stand up proud today to say, like, I've changed and I'm changing, and thankful to Homeboy Industries.
Man. Thank you, David. Thank you for sharing that, brother. Carizma, what was some of the experiences that you had outside of LA through Homeboy Industries, and tell me how to make you feel?
I got like three. One of my favorite ones was when I went to Michigan. I went to Flint, Michigan to give $8,000 in water, but me and a fellow coworker, we had to raise all the money on our own up here, so we had to work around. Yeah, so that was one of my favorite trips. I went to Michigan with Homeboys.
That was when the Native brothers were going at it for the fresh water and all that stuff. Damn, that was a long time ago. Yeah, I remember that. What about when you went to
I went to Mono Lake. Yeah, man, the salt water is They
You were
got little
trying it
bugs
out.
you can eat. Yeah. At first, I used to get it. I was upset because I'm like, dang, man, he got me walking everywhere. We got to sleep outside. We was camping.
They
I
call
was
that
so
hiking,
mad.
bro.
But then, yeah. But then at the end, towards the ending of the days, I was like, man, I'm gonna have to go back home now. Like, I just was mad, and now I gotta go get used to it. I was already used to. Now I'm gonna be mad again. It was just a wonderful experience. I never been to anything like that. I still haven't went hiking. I mean, I still haven't been like camping, hiking up the mountains again. We hiked pretty high in Yosemite. It was a pretty cool experience. But one of my favorite experiences I had here was when I went to New York too. And my roommate, she recently just passed away like a couple of days ago. She was my roommate. She went with me to Syracuse, New York.
Who, Brandy?
Brand, yeah,
That's
she was my
cool.
roommate. She had just got out of prison, and she was giving me all type of wisdom as an older lady coming from like dang near the same neighborhood. She was able to show me and help me some things, and that's something I'm gonna take with me forever.
Yeah, man. Rest in peace, Brandy Barham. Just recently passed away through senseless gang violence and stuff, man. And but she was doing really, really great.
Yeah.
She was with Project 180, right?
Yep.
She was with you, yeah, man. But I'm glad you pulled those experiences. Chris, can you give me a little something?
Man, my experience when I went to Memphis, man, like I said, it was
Oh yeah.
a life changer, you know, because I went to the Martin Luther King Motel,
Mm-hmm.
Stax Museum when they make all the hits at BB King, all them at the Stax Museum, and then I went to Elvis' old house. You
Is
feel me?
that right?
What's that? Graceland. Walked through Graceland, seen all of Graceland. Walked, you know, me and G had a nice little time, you know. But this would make me realize where I was coming out the hood, and I wasn't used to coming out the hood.
Yeah.
He was like, pack light, you feel me? Gave me a homeboy's bag. But when I got to the airport, I had like 6 pairs of shoes in there. And G was like, you only going for 2 days, son. What you need 6 pairs of shoes for? I'm like, G, you know, I gotta stay fresh, G, you know.
6 pair of shoes. Oh,
I got 6 pairs of shoes for 2 days. You know, I wanted to stay.
that's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
but it was cool, man. You know, whenever I get out the hood, man, I just try to, homeboys got me out my shell, man, you know.
I try to get you to go snorkeling, man.
Yeah, but you know, I just want to be the beach boy. You know, I want to sit over there and watch. I want to watch everybody's stuff, you know. But yeah,
That's right.
I went snorkeling with you. You know, I tried it, but you know, had to stay to the side and just enjoy my homies and just, you know, happy to be out the hood, bro.
It's still feed, man. You know, we still had a really great time, man.
Yeah, on everything we did.
Give me a highlight real quick, Vic. We're gonna be closing up right now.
Oh man, going to Mammoth with you, man. Going to Mammoth, going in the snow, snowboarding. And I think I forgot to mention is when we went to the jacuzzi, me and Russell went to the jacuzzi, and there's snow all around us. And I told, man, if the homies in the neighborhood could see us now, man, these are kind of things that I want to experience. I have a 2-year-old little boy named after my brother Tony, and little Nikki and Emily. I want to do little things like that. I've never really been much out of the neighborhood. Every time I plan a vacation, something bad always goes wrong. So I haven't really been anywhere out of LA. So I know that's going to happen one of these days. G, so you still owe me a trip, G. I mean, so I'm looking forward to that. I mean,
yeah,
advertising.
likely that will happen. I can't promise you because I'm not G, but you know, me
yeah.
I'm on blast, so it's gonna happen, homies. All right, you guys, we're gonna close up. This has been a beautiful experience. I hope the audience, you know, got to really enjoy, you know, all of our stories. And thank you guys for being vulnerable, for opening up. You guys are all gems, you know, not just to Homeboys, but to the world, man. This is what we do is, you know, we come in here individually on our own. No one forces us. We come here. Maybe you get a little push by moms, right, Vic?
Yeah.
But we come in here and we're looking for light. We've been stuck in darkness, and our spirit is calling, man. Our spirit is tired of this life, this darkness that we lived, and so we have a place to come to where we drink the Kool-Aid, we're fed, we're get bit by love, and so the light shines through us, And it's a beautiful thing. And that doesn't stop with us. It carries on with our families. It carries on through our kids and through our neighbors and our community. And I love this place. I love what it does to our community. Right now, we're talking to people that are all across the world. And it's just such an honor, man, to walk with you guys, for all of us together to be doing what we're doing. And thank you again. Thank the audience for I wish I could have get to you guys through, you know, questions and stuff. But, you know, once we get through this COVID, I encourage all of you guys to come visit us. You know, say, you know, you see Carizma, you see Vic, David or Chris, you know what I mean? You say, hey, man, I saw you guys on the panel. And then give me your feedback. You know, you guys are family to us. So come in, be with us. As soon as we get over this crazy stuff, you know, our doors are going to be completely open. And we thank you. We love everybody. This is family, and we're out. Peace to you all.